at Henry's as one of the highlights of my year. I always enjoy the celebration and bringing our community together, and I appreciate all the time and hours and thought that you guys put into going to see plays near and far away, your deep thoughts and careful process that you put toward it. You guys do a really great service to our community, and I know I speak for everybody in the theater community how grateful we all are for you guys. This day came as a result of Gloria and I chatting one day over a glass of wine about the needs of the Colorado Theater Guild and how you can never have enough tools in your toolbox to do the things we do in the theater community, and perhaps there are people who want to add a couple more tools. I'm happy to talk to you about directing. So why do I feel like I can stand here and talk to you about directing? Well, I've been directing plays ever since I was a little girl in the suburbs of Minneapolis, with my Barbie dolls. And I started out as an actor and started directing when I was 22 years old, and discovered that, wow, I grew out of my type pretty quick as an actor and learned that there's something about directing that I had great passion for and great feelings and things I wanted to say about the world. I got my undergraduate degree in theater from the University of Minnesota. I got my master's in directing, my MFA, from Rutgers University in the beautiful state of New Jersey. And I've directed almost about 100 plays. I moved here to Denver in 1999, and you may have seen some of the plays I've directed locally at Curious Theater Company, which is my theatrical home. Also the Never Center Theater Company. I've directed at Town Hall, at Boulder Ensemble Theater Company. I've Family. What else have I? Oh, Creed, of course, Creed Repertory Theater. That's my summer home, right? So, and I also teach stage directing. I've taught, for 16 years, I've taught stage directing at Metropolitan State University of Denver. I've taught over 300 young people how to direct a play. And over that, I developed a little system to teach my students how to watch a play. What does a director do? And I've created a little handout here for you. I've sophisticated a bit. I have to say I'm a little humbled to see all these august people here who, of course, you guys have so much theater experience. And I'm sure I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. If at the very least, if I can make you feel really super smart today and say, I already know all this stuff, or to help, just reinforce how awesome you are, and who knows, maybe there's a couple little tools in your toolbox that you haven't used yet, that you haven't had a chance to take advantage of. Hi, come on. And I'm happy to do that for you also. And then we'll wrap it up with a chance for you to ask some questions. When you think about what a stage director does, the great example is always the Wonderful Wizard of Oz, isn't it? That's the person who says, pay no attention to the man or woman behind the black curtain. However, what does make a good director? The first thing I have on the handout here is somebody who can tell a story. Directors are storytellers at the very heart of it. And when you watch a play, can you follow the story at its very heart? Is there a valid interpretation? Aristotle believes that there are not a million interpretations for a play. There's only a certain finite number of valid interpretations, depending upon your time and your place on the planet. So is this a play that when you're seeing it being directed by someone that you feel that it's valid? You feel that they are honoring the playwright's words, getting the gist of the playwright's intent for this time and this place on our planet? Or is this a director who is not honoring the intent of the playwright? Is this a director who perhaps wants to write their own plays? And perhaps they should do that instead. I always like to use the phrase about directing is you need to decide if you want to be the midwife or the mother of a certain production, because it's different, right? Sometimes a director, their goal is just to be a midwife. I think that's especially true in new work, where the person who has the most skin in the game is the playwright. The midwife doesn't see the kid get married. Midwife doesn't sit at the graduation ceremony. But the midwife is somebody who is intelligent, who is smart, who can make sure you're taking your prenatal vitamins, who makes sure that the birth is progressing along and the pregnancy is progressing along well, and if something goes wrong, the cord gets wrapped around the neck. If it's a breech birth, all of a sudden there's no electricity, then you know what to do to step in an emergency. So sometimes I ask them, am I a midwife here? Yeah, I'm just a midwife, which is a very important job. The other aspect, though, is are you a mother? And this is where I say, maybe this is where you get a little bit more fancy. A chance to add some theatrical touches toward a valid production of what the playwright's intents are. In other words, is it showing up? And when I go see a play, I look at it and I wonder, is this director being a midwife or a mother? And if you are being a mother, how does that increase your understanding of what the play is all about? Or does it get in the way? Is it showing off great? Does it make the experience all the better than if I had just sat in a comfy chair with a cup of cocoa and read the play? Or does it get in the way? Is it showing off appropriate? All plays, Aristotle says, must have emotion. We go to the theater to feel. So I instruct my students to ask themselves, are my feelings being engaged properly? Open your heart up, be ready to go on the ride, and are your feelings being engaged appropriately? And even more important, do you still have feelings for the play 24 hours later? If the play's a drama, does it move you? If the play's a comedy, is it delightful? Or in this day and age, if it's a comedy and a drama, are you moved and is it delightful at the same time? Are the right emotions being engaged? Well, a lot of what a director does is blocking, is staging. There are directors who are not so good at any of this other stuff here on this piece of paper, but if you are good at staging and at blocking, boy, you could have a fantastic career. We're visual people. 75% of what is communicated on the stage happens visually. No offense to the playwrights in the room. We're very visual people. And a good director is a choreographer. I always say, in another life, another time, in another body, I was a dancer. I was a choreographer. And when I'm watching a play, that really doesn't do it for me. I look to see the movements and the patterns on the floor. Blocking is a big part about what a director does. So there's the essential stuff. Can you see what you need to see? That's the rudimentary aspect of it. But even more than that, if you want to get fine-tuned about it, is that what if you were somebody who couldn't hear? Would you understand the relationships and the story on stage just by how people are moving, just in their relationship to each other, and how the space is being used? Could you understand the basic rudimentary parts of the story? You might find it fun sometimes, so join me in that sometimes. I also love patterns on the floor. I find them very enjoyable, and to see how they are they using curves and arcs and using the space in interesting, new ways. And the way the actors move, can you understand what their relationships are? Does the movement of the play have increased your understanding about what it is all about? And is there enough variety in the movement and what's happening on stage? What does a director have to say about acting? Well, good actors exist without directors. They have for thousands and thousands of years. When you think about it, the term director didn't even begin until 1890s when the Duke of Saxe-Meiningen, Georg II, coined the term director. But they've always been directors before that, but just not the official name. Good acting can happen without it. What can a director do with actors? I like to think of it like a good coach. And a good coach brings out the best that's there in an actor. Especially if you've seen actors around the community who've been familiar to you, are you seeing actors stretch themselves? Do things you never thought was possible to do? Probably that was the director behind it. If you see actors that you're familiar with fall back into old habits or always go back to the same stock things that they've always done before, it's potential that is a director who doesn't have the skills on how to speak the language of the actor, to push the actor to go deeper, in its basic sense, which I know you will know this, is good acting is living truthfully in imaginary circumstances of that world. So, are you buying it? We all have real sensitive BS meters. We all know everything up here is fake. We know everything is fake. But when a play is really good, the actors draw you in because of the belief aspect of it. Is it acting fake? You know it. Is it indicated? Are they pretending to do it? Are they not really doing it? Or do you get wrapped up into the story to forget that they're actors on stage? That's usually the side, the hand of a strong director. I probably had about 300 things written about me and my work. And every time you read something about directing, they will always say one thing: rhythm and pacing. Beautifully paced by Christy Montour-Larson. Dreadfully paced by Christy Montour-Larson. The problem with production was the awful pacing of Christy Montour-Larson. There's some people that think that's all a director does, is rhythm and pacing. Well, it is important. It's incredibly important. When you see a play, are you seeing variety in the way things are paced? Fast and slow, high and low, like a conductor. If it was scored like a piece of music, do you find enjoyment in it? During Molière's day, they wouldn't go to see a play. They say they would go to hear a play. Are you seeing a lot of variety in the rhythms and paces? It's been said that pace is a delivery system for meaning. So, the easier the information, the less psychologically dense it is in a play, the faster the pacing can happen. The more emotionally deep, the more difficult it is, the information is, the more you need to slow down. Kind of connects in more with point number one, which is clarity. Really what rhythm and pacing is trying to do is trying to prevent the worst thing that could happen to a theater audience, which is to bore them, right? A good show should be like, let me say this. If a show is paced too slow, it looks like this. This is what the audience looks like. Because it means you got ahead of the play. Does it ever happen to you at all? You get ahead of the play? It ever happen to you when you're watching a TV show or a movie, you get ahead of it? We don't want people to get ahead of us in the theater. That is this bored look. Or if a show is paced too quickly, it looks like this. This is what the audience looks like. It can't catch up. We want the audience to be in the in-between spot, which is like this. Okay? Engaged, ready, right? Using the edge of your seat. And I'm okay if I'm a couple steps behind, but I'm excited to see what happens later. If you ever feel yourself, God forbid, getting bored in play, it could be a result of rhythm and pacing. You ever find yourself getting confused? Are moments landing right? You missed stuff. Are they slinging the text? Are they going past it too fast? Or are they just gliding along the way? And you know what? Fast isn't always good. Too fast can be boring also. The same rhythm that happens, we're looking for a variety in it. I was talking about this with Dick about design. You know, there are beautifully designed shows that happen all over this planet, and a director has nothing to do with it. Good design can happen and avoid without a good director. Where the director comes in play when it comes to design is to make sure that there's nothing that's sticking out. So if you're ever watching a play and go, well, it was really great, but what was up with that cue? Or what was up with that prop? Or that costume didn't fit everything. That shows the director's eye wasn't on it. They may lack the taste, the control, the knowledge, the collaboration aspect, the ability to guide a design team. Boy, I think theater should be beautiful. What is a work of art? Again, its job is to reveal the beauty of humankind, to reveal the universe in some way. Even when you watch something simple. Do you have to have a lot of money for a show to be beautiful? We all know that. Of course not. Some of the most beautiful shows I've seen have had a budget of $2.50, right? That has just been made out of going to Goodwill. Is there anything that's visually or orally beautiful? Anything surprising? Anything you haven't seen before? Anything that's theatrical? And those are great aspects to keep an eye out for. And of course, director should have the gods of the lobby. Keep everything different. Keep things moving along. Not variety in rhythm, tone, variety in emotions. Did you ever see a play where it starts up here and everybody's angry and mad for 90 minutes? Ooh, huh? That goes to the aspect of where all get bored very quickly, right? Or a play that just starts off with everybody yelling at each other for 90 minutes. Or a play where everybody's just making fun of each other. To see if you can find, look to see if you see variety happening. It's a sign of a good director shaping and policing it. And then the last aspect I have here before we go into some questions is unity. All works of art, whether it be visual, art, dance, music, theater, must have unity. The greater the unity, the greater the work of art. And by that I mean harmony among all the components. Do you ever see a play where you go, everybody's doing the same play except for that person right there. They're in a different play, and that's not the author's intent, huh? Well, that's the sign of a director, being able to do that. Unifying all the component parts, so the lights, the set, the sound, they're all working together to tell one story. And the actors, so that at its height we can put a laser on belief. The stronger belief there is in a play, the more powerful it is. And the more everybody here, the crew, the set, the lights, the costumes, the props, the projections, the musical direction, the band, the actors, the more that they are all working in harmony among all the component parts, the more they believe, then the more the audience believes. And the more the audience believes, a magical thing can happen. And if you've been in plays before, back me up on this, because the more the audience believes, then the more the people on stage believe. And the more the people on stage believe, then the more the audience believes. And the more the people on stage believe. And so there is this belief that is traveling back and forth, and an orgy of belief that can happen. And that's the reward of drama. That's why we go to the theater. Theater can, especially in these days, it's nice to know that theater, we're cultural architects, we can be healers. And who is in charge of setting up this unity? Well, that's the director. Now you may look at this and go, well, that's pretty much like everything. But a play happens, right? The director's responsible for all this. And my answer is, yeah, they are responsible for all this. We do the best we can under the given circumstances that we have. And it doesn't matter what size our budget is. We could have a big-ass budget or a tiny budget. It doesn't matter what skill level all the artists are either. I guess now we can kind of open up to questions. Go ahead.
For yourself or for any director, the challenge of the stage space itself is blocking, like the long stage space where inevitably the audience is going to have to look to the right and the left, or how do you handle that particularly?
All things being equal, one of the great things about staging is that you can manipulate where the audience can look. It's almost as if you had a lot of different cameras, and you can force the audience on where to look. And it's kind of cool, I always think that, this is not a good little thrust space, but even these people over here can all be compelled to watch something that's over here if the action is interesting and exciting, and the actor knows what they want, and the characters knows what they want, and what gets in the way of what they want, and what they're going to do to get around it. And you can compel thousands of people to all look over here. It's a great thing for you to keep an eye on when you're watching blocking to see, is the director appropriately manipulating the audience in order to put their vision. And of course, we can all add other things onto it too. Spotlight always helps, right? Flashy red costume can help, but all things being equal, you actually don't need all that. You can do it just, like in long sleeves. I was just at Vintage today. That little black box, right? That gets a really, really long space. And how do you compel somebody all the way to watch all that's happening over on a down left side? That's acting. I think the actor's interest, the character's interest, is what compels us to be interested in too. And I also hope they use that space. You should see a lot of variety in how a director uses the space in terms of blocking. I hope that answered your question. Huh? Okay. Hi, Diane.
Hi. Well, after this difficult week, Christy, thank you for the re-inspiration and getting back to roots and something to believe in. So appreciate your being here. I've had a question that's been bothering me for for a long time, and I think it pertains mostly to musicals, but not necessarily. And that's when there's a problem with the sound. Sometimes the music drowns out the actors. Sometimes I can just tell this is really good, but I can't get the enunciation of everything because the sound system in the theater isn't great.
Yeah, it's tough.
And I'm always torn as to how to rate various things as to the quality of the production when I'm not quite sure the root cause. Is it the sound system? Is it a sound engineer? Is it the director who didn't see that everything gelled quite right?
And it could
Is
be the
this
lighting.
isn't fair. Well, all right, it isn't fair to the actors, and I'm wondering if you had any thoughts about how one would evaluate
And how that
those
affects
sorts of
directorial.
problems.
Yeah, I hate to, when it all comes down to it, I feel a lot of that stuff lands on the seat of a director. I gotta say, one of the great things about, is important about directing is that a director should never give up. You should never go, well, that's the way this system is to find a way to fix it. There's not a balance. You know, if the orchestra is too loud, then you need to put up shelves. You need to get some of that comes with experience too. The more and more you do something, the only time I've learned anything is through falling flat on my face about it and going, oh my God, you know, I got this terrible review saying the sound was out of balance and nobody could hear anything. So the next time I do a musical, I'm going to make sure that I'm on top of it. I might make sure I put up plastic shelves to cover the band or move the band off stage or make sure we have things on microphones. So some of that comes from experience, even when the system. I think of it like gardening, Diane, is that I go out and garden, I say, well, here are the things that I have, how I'm going to make a delicious meal. And so if you have a crappy sound system, the point is to make those vegetables taste wonderful. So I think it's part of that, you know. A director should be able to, so don't you think, Dick? The director should say it's too loud to work. And enunciation is directorial. That's number one, huh? Tell the story. Be clear about it. If you can't hear and understand people, that's the sound of a director who doesn't have an ear toward it to say, oh, the actors are just being down at the end of their sentences. They're not playing strong action, so